One. Hello, everyone listening in. You are currently tuning in to the ETH Denver Frictionless podcast series. My name is Red Eyed Bear. I'm one of the many contributors to Shade Protocol, but today I'll be the host of the Frictionless podcast series. We're incredibly excited to be joined by Lisa Loud from the Secret Network Foundation at the Frictionless event, and we're also incredibly excited to be able to have her here today on the Frictionless podcast series. Before we dive into this conversation, Lisa, can you give us a quick introduction to yourself and the project that you contribute to, Secret Network Foundation?
Yes, yeah, of course. Thanks, Red Eyed Bear. Thanks for having me. ETH Denver was a blast, and I loved your event. So my name is Lisa Loud. I'm the executive director of the Secret Network Foundation. So we are basically the ecosystem arm of the Secret Network, which is a layer one ecosystem that promotes confidential computing. So our technology allows confidential computing for anyone. Actually, it's cross-chain, it's EVM compatible now. So, and I know Shade is very much aware of what we do, having worked with us for quite some time. My background, actually, I'll just say a little bit about that because it's interesting, I think, to find people who come from the Silicon Valley tech culture and are now in crypto. There's not that many of us, honestly. So I worked at Apple as a software engineer, and I was at PayPal leading digital acquisition for the merchant side in North America. Like that's one sentence covers 10 years, but anyway, so I was really steeped in the Silicon Valley culture and decided to leave that culture in order to join BitMEX and join the crypto revolution, basically. And since then, I've also acted as I had a role as chief operating officer of Shapeshift, one of the OGs in the space. And now I'm working with Secret. And the reason that I chose to come to this role is that I really think that the next big frontier that we're facing in terms of blockchain usage, adoption, acceptance is this barrier to having real life applications that are on chain when everything on chain is transparent. It really puts a wrench in the works if everything is like just open and public. There's a lot of things you just can't do.
Yeah, I completely agree there. And obviously, privacy is a huge value proposition for the Secret Network as a whole, or this confidential computing privacy for your interactions with smart contracts. So, in relation to confidential computing on Secret Network and kind of all these roadmap items that Secret Network has in motion, what are you most excited about that's coming up in the near future?
There's so much I'm excited about. It's really hard to say one thing, but how about I'll give you kind of like an overview of where I see things going, and then I'll pick one thing. It won't be necessarily the most exciting thing, but it'll be something. So overall, we've really focused on reaching a wider audience. And we integrated Snake Path, which we're calling Secret Path at the moment. We integrated Snake Path, which allows us to reach a lot of different blockchains, a lot of different layer ones, which means, tactically speaking, it means that a developer on Solana, once we build that little bridge, a developer on Solana can come in and call contracts directly from Secret Network. So those smart contracts can do confidential computing, they can store private data, and that gives it's like a layer two almost for all the blockchains to be able to implement confidential computing, whether or not the native chain supports it. So I'm really excited because of the technology and because we're bringing this to a lot of new people. There's other things that we're working on. So we have an ecosystem. We have a grants program. We just finished. Well, I have some announcements this week about our grant recipients from our last program. Two of them are announcing their testnet launches this week. And so the grants program is really going well. And then we just came back from ETH Denver where we had a hackathon. Some really high quality projects were submitted at that hackathon. So I'm excited that the word is getting out and that people are building on this and seeing the benefit of it. And then I'm also excited about the product roadmap, the things that are coming. There's going to be support for decap in the future. There's some upgrades that are coming. Then there's just widening the feature set of what's in secret. It just feels like we're gathering momentum as we go. So then to pick one thing that I'm most excited about, I guess at ETH Denver, I was at the judging table when the projects were presenting to us, and it was very satisfying to listen to this one project. These hackers came up and they're like, "Yeah, we tried to use Chainlink VRF, and we were going to have to create an account. We went through a 2-hour training, and we still couldn't do it. And it costs money to set up the account, and there's this, and then the integration is going to cost more and going to take forever." And then we heard about secret VRF, and we realized we didn't have to do any of that. It was cheaper, it was easier, and it was faster, and it was going to work better than Chainlink's VRF. So they were like, "Yeah, we tried to use Chainlink, and then we discovered secret VRF, and we're so excited." So that was kind of my exciting moment. It was unsolicited, and I just happened to be there at the time when these developers were gushing about how great the VRF was on secret. And that's just one example. Our technology really does have a lot of let me say, a head start over any other projects that are out there. Not that the other projects, there's anything wrong with them. It's just that we've been building a long time, and we've had the chance to mature the technology, work out some problems, and build a lot of support into it. So it really is just a matter of developers discovering us and big partners discovering us. The technology is there. I mean, in crypto, you've got hype and you've got tech, right? There's companies that are really good at I forget which hand was which, but really good at the hype, no tech. And then there's other companies that are really good at the tech and no hype. So my goal is we have the tech, let's start hyping it.
Yeah, it was really cool getting to see all the different presentations that were done by Secret Network Foundation for Secret VRF at ETH Denver, and then also seeing some of these winning teams utilizing Secret VRF too. In relation to the confidential compute that Secret Network provides, and some of the traction that Secret Network is starting to see from developers across different ecosystems, what were some of the hurdles that Secret Network Foundation, and the developer community had to overcome to get to the point we're at now?
Documentation was a big one. When I first joined, there was very little documentation to help developers get going. And the other issue we had was that we were not EVM compatible back then, and so we were limited to the IBC developers and inside in the Cosmos ecosystem. And while I love Cosmos and I want it to succeed, it's not growing as fast as the EVM community in terms of developers. Rust is harder. So Secret uses Rust for smart contracts. Ethereum uses Solidity, and Rust is harder to do. So combine the fact that you had to code in Rust, you had to be on Cosmos, you had not very good documentation on how to do any of this, and it was really challenging for developers to come into our ecosystem. And we've addressed a lot of those things Sean Rad has been doing amazing documentation and templates, and then and Alex H as well has been really just building those bridges, those on-ramps for developers to come into the ecosystem and start building on Secret.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of getting to work alongside both of these individuals and seeing the amount of effort and the fruits of the effort there. And not to just single them out, there are many great contributors in the Secret Network developer ecosystem that are really doing a lot of work to help push these confidential compute solutions out there. I'm curious, if you had to choose just two things that you would want, let's say, the Secret Network user base and community, or new prospective user bases and community within the Secret Network ecosystem. If you had to choose just two things that you wanted them to very clearly understand about Secret Network, what do you think those things would be?
How many words do I have?
You can have as many words as you want.
Okay. All right. So what I want people to understand, what I would want people to understand more than anything else is that um, confidentiality, data protection is not optional. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's a need to have. And developers, when they're thinking about how to make an application, obviously, if you make an application, you want people to use it, right? To make it usable, to make it really appeal to the I'm going to use my bitmuggle word again. So I call them the bitmuggles. They don't know anything about blockchain or Bitcoin or anything. They're just trying to do business. So if you want your application to appeal to bitmuggles, you're going to have to make it at least on a par with conventional data protection. So don't just go blindly into this. I mean, in the crypto space, there's a lot of us who just have tunnel vision. It's like crypto, crypto, crypto. Remember that the wider world doesn't know anything about it, doesn't really care. What they want is functionality, and they've got to have at least the functionality they have in the Web 2 world. So that's a lot of words to say. What I would like, the first thing is that I want developers to think about how important it is to protect sensitive data and sensitive computations when they're building their applications. Second thing, I guess I would say the second thing is that this ecosystem is full of resources. We have DevRels who really know what they're doing and they're so committed. I mean, these guys, I'm very grateful that I get to be here and have this interview. Really, I'm just talking about what they've done. It's all the team. And I'm proud to be able to talk, but I do want to give them credit. What they do is they make developers feel welcome and supported. We run a weekly 0 to Hero workshop that teaches developers how to code on Secret. We have a grants program, we do hackathons, we have Discord channels, we have a community that's very technically apt as well, and so the community helps them. And then we're also working on providing VC pitch opportunities. That's coming up actually in April. We're going to have the first one, so that anyone who's building on Secret can actually have access to these VCs. So it's not just here's some technology, go use it. It's a whole it's a community and a village that will support you from the inception at your hackathon all the way to launching a full-fledged project. So, and I don't think that's true in most ecosystems. So that's the thing that I am trying to figure out how to get across to people, that once you join this, you're supported. You've got a lot buoying you up and making sure that you're successful all the way through your project life cycle.
That's really awesome to hear. And I know that there's a few DApps on Secret Network that are in the pipeline to reach mainnet production pretty soon. So hopefully this gives a lot of encouragement to new DApps wanting to come and build, to see the success of existing DApps and know that they'll be supported throughout their journey.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. So if you had to, you've been in this industry for quite some time now, you've gained a lot of experience. If you had to give any advice or knowledge, not financial advice, of course, but if you had to give any advice or knowledge that you'd want to pass down for any new Cosmos ecosystem builders or users, what would you want to tell them? And you can maybe even talk about specifically within Secret. But what advice would you want to give any new users coming into crypto?
So new users, not a developer, but just a user?
Yeah, I would say users would probably be most applicable for people listening to this.
Yeah. All right. So coming into crypto is entering a different world. You're you're going to Hogwarts now. And if you want to start seeing some of the, yeah, there's ways to make big money, there's ways to lose big money in crypto. So it's exciting, it's fun. I always encourage people to just dip a toe in and do the basics, like download MetaMask, download Kepler, um, get some crypto in your wallet, figure out what the basics are. Don't, consider I would consider it like tuition money. Take $100. That's all, and just try to buy some crypto and figure out how you do it. Because just knowing that you can do it is incredibly empowering. And when people start talking about, oh, there's incentives here, there's an airdrop, you'll start to tune into what that means, and you'll be able to start benefiting from some of those opportunities as well. But with that said, I think a lot of people are going to come into crypto without knowing anything about crypto, because the applications are going to be built on blockchain and they're just going to work.
Yeah, I just thinking back to my first crypto experiences, I truly did not understand what I was doing. And, I took the same approach that you suggested, dipping a toe in, starting to figure things out. If something goes wrong, it's not life-changing money or time that you're putting up, but there's a lot of opportunity to learn, to grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my foot into this industry. So
Cool.
really, really appreciate that advice. And I would also second that advice. Before we wrap this up, Lisa, if anyone's interested in building on Secret Network or wants to join the DApp, join as a DApp user, or join as a community member to try and provide suggestions, to support the chain, what's the best way for them to get involved?
I would say start by joining the Discord. If you are a Discord user, go find the Secret Network Foundation Discord channel and join, because there's lots of resources there. You'll find out about the Zero to Hero workshops. You'll find out about grant programs, announcements, and so I think that's a good place to start. The other thing is, Telegram's always a nice way to dip your toe in without having to really let people know you're there. So go to our secret community channel, and I think it's SCRT community, or email me at lisa@scrt.network, and let me know what you're looking for, what you're interested in, and I'll see if I can help and connect you to the right people.
That's awesome. So final question for you. What was your favorite highlight from ETH Denver? It could be a personal highlight. It could be a professional highlight. Just like what made you the most excited or like the happiest while you were
Yeah,
there?
that's easy. So, and you were there actually. So it was the ecosystem meeting we had. So we had a hacker house at ETH Denver, and we had people coming, going every day. It was amazing. It was such a good idea Lindsay had to have that hacker house. But people were coming in and talking to our DevRels, and they were coding there. So we decided to hold an ecosystem meeting at that hacker house, and we had a lot of our different dApps who happened to be in Denver. They came, including Shade, and we had a really great discussion on where Secret Network is today, where it's going. We're talking about the branding question, like, do we keep this name? Do we need to change the name? And also just like the narrative around that. So we really, and I'll just make a mention of DCC, Decentralized Confidential Computing, which is a new category of blockchain, technology that we're starting to see emerge, and we're trying to bring that narrative, just like DPIN, to the media. So that was kind of born at that ecosystem meeting, and so were a lot of other ideas. I would say that was probably my highlight of the trip. So thank you for making that highlight for us.
Yeah, it was phenomenal to be at that meeting. I mentioned this a few times on different Twitter spaces, but I haven't seen that much positive energy and
Mhm.
focus on, really pushing the network to like, I guess, be the best version it can, right? Making sure that the chain, the DApps, the infrastructure, everyone is all aligned. We're all understanding like where we're currently at and where we're all going. Yeah, and I haven't seen that much positive sentiment from like the core contributors of the network and the DApp layer. And this is just my personal opinion. I've only been in the network for a few years now. But it was phenomenal to get to see
Yeah.
that much energy and excitement all in one room.
Yeah,
Getting to
amazing.
see people in person is really important part of this experience. We're
Yeah.
on screens all day, so
Yes, I wish we could be together more often, honestly, but we're so spread out in blockchain.
yep, got to cherish those moments while we've got them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today for this interview. This has been a great ETH Denver frictionless podcast. Hopefully, we'll be doing this again next year. We're going to try and make frictionless an annual thing at ETH Denver. So hopefully next year we'll be doing the same thing again, even better. We had a great turnout for frictionless. I think we had close to 80 or 90 people. And all of the presentations, the lightning pitches, all of the conversations there was incredibly high quality. We're
Yeah.
really glad that Secret Labs, Secret Network Foundation, Shade, and other DApps at Secret Network all got to be there representing decentralized confidential computing.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was a great event. Thank you
Of
for putting
course.
it on.
Well, with that, we will sign off. Thank you again, Lisa. Hope you have a great rest of the day.
All right, thank you.